Hey everybody, this is Perch. There's a whole dialogue going on right now about it's around cinema sins, and it's around is cinema sins spoiling and ruining movies. Now, for some background here, if you don't know what cinema sins is, I think there's a website, but mostly there's YouTube videos, and they tend to be sarcastic takes on movies. Now, an important thing about cinema sins, you are an idiot if you do not realize that it's a joke, that it's a parody, that it's comedy. Yes, they're taking a cynical, angry, in some cases, look at movies. Not angry, really, just anal retentive, I think would be the look. Or if you've been or worked in a comic shop for any length of time, average comic store discussion of people who are wondering exactly why a particular bracelet on Quasar had 4 bumps on it in one panel and 5 on the other. Is there some kind of mystical reason for this? No, the artist just drew it differently. But anyway, there's other sites that are getting drawn into this, things like Honest Trailers, of which I'm a definite big fan of Epic Voice Guy, and he's a great guy. But these are meant to be entertaining. It's meant to be humorous. It's meant to just be fun. There's also the, Screen Rant, the pitch meeting, barely an inconvenience. There's a lot of these things out here. And the reality is you either like them or you don't. Maybe your thing on YouTube is that you enjoy funny animal videos. Maybe you enjoy those weird videos of kids unboxing presents. All that, like that's a very weird one. My daughter, when she was younger, really got into some of those, would just watch kids opening up toys, and I'm like, what are you doing with your life? I don't understand. But it's not for me to understand. It's entertainment. They can do whatever they want. The one thing they're not doing is ruining movies. And the dialogue and the discussion and the claim is that Screen Rant's news stories are absolute garbage. I mean, that's a whole different story. But I mean, in terms of the entertaining properties, in terms of cinema sins, in terms of this kind of stuff, it's once again, we must look to the sage advice of Kelly Sue DeConnick. If you don't like it, don't buy it. In this case, don't click on it for free. We have to stop assuming for the moment that because somebody said something, it ruined our experience. It's weird. It's over the top, and it's silly, and there does need to be some perspective. The reality is, and you all know this, everybody listening to this knows it in their heart, it's just some people have been tricked into constantly wanting to blame somebody else for their disappointments. If you watch a movie and you don't like it, it's not somebody else's fault you didn't like it, nor is it even an issue about fault. You like it, you don't. There's no guilt that needs to be happened there. If you pick up an Eisner-winning comic book and you think it's absolute garbage, then you're not wrong. It's you. You get to decide. Only you. The fact that it has Eisner stamped on it doesn't mean anything. It really, not to your enjoyment. You either like it, you don't. But there's this constant, very strange dynamic, and you see it with review sites. You see it right now playing out with He-Man, where, amongst all the other things you see in Rotten Tomatoes, the critics loving it, or at least rating it in the 90s, and you see the fan reaction down in the 20s and 30s. Now, is it possible that some of that 20 and 30%, those bad fan ratings, were a result of angry review bombers, people who are signing up for like 100 accounts so everybody can rate it poorly? Sure. Is it possible that many of the people who are rating it poorly never watched it and just don't like Tila and don't want a woman in the charge of that cartoon? Sure. Is it possible that some of the people may not have minded the cartoon, but were really put off because Kevin Smith said he was going to do one thing and then did another? Sure, all those things are possible. Does it matter? No, I'm not getting into what Kevin Smith said or who should be in the control of the movie, or is it He-Man or Masters of the Universe or anything else. When I say does it matter, I'm talking about to you, the person who's watching this or reading this, who's checking out the comic book, reading this movie. Does any of this matter to you? And when I say it, I'm talking the reviews, I'm talking the ratings. Whether somebody puts something at 90% or 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, for example, It doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to watch it. I'll either enjoy it or not. Sometimes I find my opinion is like other people, and sometimes it isn't. And that's all there is to it. It really doesn't need to be more complicated than that. But I'm seeing the most bizarre discussions. Joe sent me one earlier about some comments around Ghostbusters, and was it not a good movie because no lessons were learned, and what was more, what else should have happened in this? And my thought process is, I enjoyed the movie. I'm not looking for, any of these characters to grow and evolve. I'm looking for something that's going to entertain me for 2 hours. If you're the kind of person who watches movies or reads comic books and you desperately need for critic sites and reviews to agree with you, or you're going to attack the review sites, that's weird. That's very weird. And if you're a person who watches the movie strictly looking for it to conform to some kind of 3-arc beat that your film studies class taught you in college, again, you could do whatever you want, but I'm telling you, you're wasting your life. You're going to miss a lot of very good content. When I pick up a comic book, I'm looking to enjoy it. I'm not looking to validate what the Eisners thought. I'm not looking, or any awards. I'm not looking to validate if this particular creator is doing a unique and inspirational checkpoint on some kind of sociological. I'm just looking to be entertained. Did the comic entertain me from start to finish? The end. It really doesn't matter. And there's a mania around wanting to kind of second guess and attack some of these sites and some of these people. I mean, this thing with saying that because CinemaSins has YouTube videos out there where they pick apart movies into tiny little details, and that's somehow ruining the movie. I mean, I'm sorry, but you're the idiot if you're watching these CinemaSin videos and that's ruining a movie for you. That's on you. It's meant to be entertaining. I like watching videos every now and then of those dash cameras of Russian cars getting in crashes. It shouldn't be hilarious to me, but it is. These crazy accidents that go on. I like watching Aussie Man. I think he's funny. I like watching Uncle Roger. I like watching How to Basic, although I'm kind of over the bit at this point. This is what I just like to watch it. There's not a deeper meaning behind what I like to watch there. It's just it entertains me, and then I move on with my life. I think it's alarming to me, and I guess I'm saying this, and I'm not necessarily coming to a really complete point here. I admit it, but more and more and more every week that goes by, we see more people wanting to pick apart someone else for why they don't like something. Some of the comments on the CinemaSins bit is, I used to enjoy movies, but then I started watching the CinemaSins, little videos before I watched the movie, which, by the way, is insane anyway. You're spoiling the entire movie for yourself. Why are you doing that? And now I don't enjoy the movie as much. They should be banned from YouTube. I mean, take some personal responsibility. Don't watch it. You're in control. Don't watch it. If you find that something is taking away your ability to enjoy something else, don't watch it. When it comes to comic books, if you find that following certain creators are basically turning you off all comics, first step, stop following those creators. Second step, don't read the comics you don't enjoy. Honestly, by the way, this is not if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. It's for yourself, for you. Don't subject yourself to hell. Life's short. There are hundreds of thousands of comic books out there. If you count in manga and all the rest, there's millions of comics. I made this point before. If you're a fan of comics, there's never been a better opportunity for you to find something you like. Honestly, even if Marvel is pissing you off, there's never been a better time. So steer away from the things that are pissing you off. It can be hard. As somebody who grew up with Marvel, some of the stuff they're doing in their lineup pains me. It sucks. I don't enjoy it. I would much prefer to have the Marvel that I grew up with still producing content I love. But I'm not going to take the fact that they're not to remove myself from comics I do love, because there are comics out there. Like, that would be saying I don't like what Western comics are doing. I don't like where they're at. So I'm going to stop reading manga. Why? Anyway, it's a weird thing. This need to blame someone else for your lack of enjoyment is odd. This need to say any kind of criticism, if it doesn't aggressively toe the line, because the reality is nobody had any problems with CinemaSins when it was going after, I don't know, Men in Black 3. Nobody was complaining about it. But miraculously, when CinemaSins went after Birds of Prey and Captain Marvel, then suddenly people are saying, well, maybe these people shouldn't make videos because they're pointing out flaws. Yeah, they are. And you don't have to watch that. And you can still enjoy something if it does have flaws. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for listening.